Okay, we're gonna see how well this works out. Pretty much earlier this year, oh yeah, I'm outdoors doing this, and I've got my mask, because I'm sure somebody's gonna see me doing this, and they're gonna come up and walk up to me and say, "What are you doing?" Well, earlier this year, we had the big windstorm come through the derecho that basically, knocked out power for a lot of people in large areas. I had a bunch of friends on Facebook complaining because they're worried. It's okay. They don't have power. They expect that they're not going to have power for a week. Okay, and yeah, the stuff in the fridge is going to go bad. And they're not. They're going to eat what they can, and they're not too upset about losing the food. But they got $600 worth of medication sitting in the fridge. That they need to stay alive, and they don't have money to replace. So I started thinking about how can we solve this. What would solve this for these people? I mean, that doesn't involve, okay, fine, own a generator, and by the way, keep buying different gas for it every 3 months because gas goes bad. Things like that. Not really happy. And realistically, in Iowa, you couldn't get gas because you couldn't get to the gas station, and the gas station didn't have power to pump the gas or to run the register. Okay. A gasoline powered generator is not a solution. So I started thinking, okay, fine, battery powered mini fridge. And it's like, okay, but batteries don't last long. So we're going to need a solar panel. Anyway, I don't need to do a mini fridge, call them a beer fridge or a dorm fridge or whatever. It's like, that's way too huge, okay? And you go online, you can find things that are like, oh, it's the insulin cooler. Well, yeah, it only works for 8 hours, and you can store, 2 vials of insulin like this size. That's garbage. And also, once you put the word insulin on it, for some reason, instead of being $50, it's $250. So yeah, that's bullshit. That's just a ripoff. So I basically went, oh wait, I have this thing that somebody gave me years ago. So this is a little cooler to put in your car, and you plug it into your car. Okay, so it's got the car power attachment, and it's yay big, and it's like, well, yeah. I mean, and I looked online, and you can get these things for like $50-ish, depending on how big and how nice and blah, blah, blah. Okay. This one has the particular advantage of already being in my basement. That's why I'm working with this, because this is a proof of concept thing. And realistically, this is like the size of, a loaf of bread instead of, 2 vials of insulin. So this way, if you and your partner, whoever you're living with also is on medication, you can put stuff in here. And, I'm not trying to save your cheese, I'm trying to save your medication. So, okay, so we got this. And we got a battery, and pretty much, this again, this nice, supposed milk carton that I bought in college to hold records, has the advantage of being in my basement. But I went and bought a battery, and the thing is, like, my whole concept was this can't cost, $1,000. And I wanted it to like fit in one of these, because this is a reasonable size. Anyway, so like, batteries are expensive. I'm used to dealing with batteries at work, but we get them, bulk through a large nationwide contract. So they're a lot more expensive. So unfortunately I had to order this one from Amazon. But, that's a moral decision you have to make. But yeah, so pretty much it was like half the price of going down the street, and I got almost twice as much battery, because batteries, like, yeah, it's a 12 volt battery, but I don't know if you can read this now, but this is a 35 amp hour battery. That's how much power it'll hold. You go down to literally Lowe's, Menards, Batteries Plus, and it's like, oh hey, 20 volt or 21 volt, and literally those are like $60 to $90, or in some cases, you know, 110. And it's like the brands I've never heard of. I'm used to this brand from work, and I'm familiar with them, and they're good. So I just went with this, and it was like $70, I think, 70 or 80. But the whole point of all this is the bigger battery you buy, the longer it's going to stand up on its own. Okay, that's a trade-off you got to make. And no, I haven't sat down with a piece of paper or, you know, a spreadsheet and calculated this all out exactly, because pretty much, like I said, this is old. I don't have a spec sheet for it. I looked one up online, and it doesn't give power consumption. The stuff you can buy online does have spec sheets, but they're all like, okay, it draws 2.8 watts or less. Okay, and I'll get back to that, but it's all inexact. Okay, again, this is proof of concept. I'm not engineering a product that I'm going to market. Okay, but anyway, so I got a battery, okay, and I got a solar panel. But anyway, okay, this goes in there. Yeah. All right, so that goes in there. The whole problem is this is supposed to plug into a car. How do I hook that to the battery? Well, one extra thing I had to go and buy was this cigarette lighter charger attachment thing. Okay, this was $12. All right, it'll go together. It works. Nifty. Now, I also need a solar panel. We use solar panels at work. I didn't steal one from work. I bought it down the street. Pretty much, okay, I got a solar panel here. Now, you look at solar panels, and there's a whole ton of solar panel stuff, and unfortunately, once you start looking at solar panel stuff online, Facebook starts serving you ads for how to do solar power for your home and make the conversion, and hey, local contractors near you want to do this, and it's just like, look, no. Okay, you're gonna get overwhelmed by this stuff. Anyway, so it's a solar panel. Now, like I said, I work with these, so I don't do a lot with them. Pretty much, we figured out what to buy, and I just grab it off the shelf and go install it. Okay, but pretty much, this is the solar panel. Solar panel is basically a battery that works when the sun's shining on it. Okay, so what you got to get. You also have to track down something called a voltage regulator, or they'll call it a current monitor, or a battery tender, or something like that. The whole idea of it is that this only works when the light's on it. So if it's cloudy, or as occasionally happens, night, it doesn't put any power out. So if it's connected to your battery, it's going to drain your battery. You're not going to power, your little box isn't going to run, or your light or whatever. So somebody came along and said, hey, wait, we can make a little box that monitors how much power is coming out of the solar panel, and then if it's over 12 volts, we'll charge the battery. And if it's less than 12 volts, we'll just disconnect it. You can get lots of different kinds of these things. I mean, we have basic ones at work that pretty much there's four wire connectors on it. Solar panel in, battery out. Okay. Yeah, I already hooked some of the stuff up because I figured that, people know how to connect wires. Anyways, this one has the nifty lights on it to tell you that it's charging or not charging. Right now there's a little red light saying, hey, it's not charging because there's nothing connected. No kidding. Anyway. They also have the nifty, this is the next step up. I mean, pretty much it has a panel connection, a battery connection, and a load connection. And their whole operating concept is you don't want to destroy your $1,000 worth of batteries just because it's not sunny out. So if you're in a situation where you're trying to run a series of lights along your sidewalk or something, yeah, you're going to use that. For this particular application, okay, the contents of this is keeping someone alive. I don't care if I destroy the battery. So we're not going to use that. Now, just to give you an idea, it's like you can spend, you can spend $100 on these things, or you can spend $10 on them, okay? You can literally get one that you can communicate with via your smartphone, and it'll tell you exactly what's going on. That's for people who are like powering their house, okay? You don't need that. Realistically, the lights are really good to have. If it's $10 for a basic one and $12 for one with lights, pay the $12, okay? If it's $10 for a basic one and $25 for one that has lights, I wouldn't waste my money on it. But pretty much what I did was I didn't just buy a solar panel, I bought a solar panel kit. Because it came with the regulator. Because that's what I was going for. And wonder of wonders, it came with the wires. Okay, these wires came with it. This wire came with it. All these other wires came with it. And I'm just going like, okay, that solves my problem. Okay? Realistically, the battery was like $70. The solar panel kit was like $60. Okay, one of these things is $50. So yeah, you can do this for, under $200. Anyways, so I got this, and, in general, think like you're hooking up to jump a car. Oh yeah, I stressed that. This is a sealed battery, a gel cell, okay? It doesn't take water. You don't need to maintain it. It's just good until it dies. Okay, so... But yeah, hook it up like that. Do the plus side first, and then connect that up. So what you want to do? Oh, that zip died. Okay. So I guess we'll just do this one. Because realistically, one thing to keep in mind is this we want to keep cool. So what we're going to do in general practice is this stays in the sun. These things, and yes, actually, I normally have it in here. This stuff can go inside, in the shade. Okay, and if, where you are, you don't have it inside, you throw a tarp over it or something. Okay? Or, a tarp or one of those little... Oh, that's right here. It's turning on. Except the fan ain't going. Something ain't right here. So. Oh, there it goes. There we go. Now, pretty much you read the instructions for these things, then they tell you, oh hey, it's gonna draw a bunch of extra power for the first couple of hours. That's because it's got to cool off all of this physical equipment. So what you can do, and I didn't bring it out here, get yourself like one of those, the blue ice packs that you leave in your freezer, or for that matter, a frozen bottle of water, okay? Probably better to use the bottled water because you leave that in the freezer and not mess with it, okay? Whereas that blue pack, you're gonna have a real temptation to throw it in the cooler when you're going out camping or to the beach or something. But get that out and throw it in here, so then this will cool off on its own and equilibrate. Once it does that, because once the power goes out, you're not going to dig this stuff out right away. It's going to be 4 hours later when you're checking on updates and going, okay, well, it's going to be 3 days before I get electricity back. I better turn on this battery-powered cooler thing. So, then you go and you set this up and, let it cool down and then put your medication in here. And of course, don't keep opening it, except when you need the stuff that's inside. Just like when your power goes out, you don't keep opening up the freezer to see if it's still cool, because that's the biggest heat gain to it. Okay? So leave it the way it is. That's right, I was gonna say, maybe, you know, if you want, you can like get one of those NASA aluminum foil blankets or something to put around this and keep it cool, or to, you know, basically, because you want to keep this out of the sun and have it, you know, keep the heat away from it. So if you do that, or, you know, honestly, I looked at this and went, gee, I can take this, and this goes in here. Oh, that's really tight. It doesn't really go in with the power on. So anyway, if I did that and I had this in here, you know, this is actually like a perfect fit almost, but even if it wasn't, okay, you're gonna have some kind of box you put this thing in, okay? You could like spray foam insulation around it to help keep it, you know, insulated. Because once it gets cool, then, you know, let's keep it really cool. Or, you know, not let it warm up. But I really want to see if I can wire that up through there, which I can. But if you're going to do that, you got to make sure, because it's got vents on it, okay? No matter what kind you have, no matter what brand you get, there's going to be vents on it. Because basically it's what's called a heat pump. It's a heat engine. It pulls heat out of the inside and dumps it out here. So you got to keep the vent clear, okay? You can't wrap a towel around it. You can't block it with insulation, okay? Somebody's going to want to put one of these inside of another cooler, which is, you know, on the surface a decent concept, but the problem is that you're trapping all that hot air inside, so you're going to have to vent it, you know? So maybe you get the cooler that, you know, Billy Bob went and hit with a shotgun, you know, and build it in there because you already got the hole in it, you know, or, you know, you got one that the cover broke off of and you don't want to use anymore because you bought a better one. Well, you know, cut a hole in the side and build one of these things in it. Anyway, so I haven't fully tested this yet, but I'm thinking I can get at least a week out of it. Pretty much, you know, weather and busyness and COVID and crap just prevented me from doing a real test on this, but I think I can get a week out of it. Pretty much the thing to do if you're going to have one of these things, like every spring, or maybe in the spring and in the fall, take it outside, throw the solar panel, you know, hook up the solar panel to the battery, make sure the battery's charged. Just do that, you know, some nice sunny day in March, April, and then again in October, November, just to make sure it's got battery in it, because, you know, you don't want to do the, you know, it's like the jokes that they have. It's like, oh, hey, I'll go down, there's a tornado, so I'll go down to the, you know, emergency kit, put the dead batteries into the flashlight. You know, you don't want to be that person. So, although realistically, if you've got a decent solar panel, it'll still charge it up when you need it. But, you know, don't play games with it if you really need this thing. So, anyway, that's my gizmo. And I will put links to like the battery and the solar panel kit, because the solar panel kit actually took some time to find. The battery was just sort of a, okay, where can I find this? You know, let's check 18 different stores if I can, you know, that was just a matter of picking out a battery. The solar panel, that took some waiting to get, so I'll probably put links to that in the description, just as a sample, so you have an idea of what to get if you want to build one. So hopefully it works for you, and hopefully you don't need it. But again, I'm trying to save your medication, I'm not trying to save your cheese.